Good evening. This is Eswatini TV News Bulletin 8, read to you by myself, Notile Sitole, alongside Zamanzi Manze. First up, here's a look at our headlining stories. The acting Prime Minister has declared his assets and liabilities before the Human Rights and Public Administration Commission. The Minister of Justice and Constitutional Affairs says Eswatini is ready to share with other countries experiences and lessons about the country's system of governance. The Minister for Health says the 500,000 doses of the AstraZeneca COVID-19 vaccines that the country is expecting will be delivered in 2 weeks' time. And now the news in detail. The acting Prime Minister Themba Masuku has officially declared his assets and liabilities before the Human Rights Commission. Masuku says this is according to the national constitution.
The acting Prime Minister Themba Masuku has officially declared his assets and liabilities before the Human Rights Commission. Masuku also saw that the report he has provided is true and will be proof that he works in transparency all the time while serving government. Masuku encourages others who are in position to declare their assets also. He says he's doing this because it is mandatory and as per the national constitution. He says it must be clear of everything he owns, that it must be declared because this is part of a national duty. He says he is not afraid of being asked of his positions and people are welcome to look at the document he has just provided. He further thanked the Commission for pushing the Code of Conduct issue.
Relate uningi nako ukhanze kubhaliwe la nebhange lami litawuvele kuthathe libuke kusho ukuthi ke bakhona labanye longathola ukuthi nawuthi ubakhuthatha uthabe kwentelo bakhweshele emuva nasuthi ke sofuna kuhlola ukuthi ukhweshelelana emuva labanye bakhona basusumsini ngoba sotohlola kwami ke akunankinga kuyahloleka kwesithathu angibonge Human Rights Commission kuqhubeka nekhuthade inzaba ye Code of Conduct.
The Deputy Commissioner Tutuzile Dlamini asked that the Code of Conduct be worked on by all relevant stakeholders. He applauded the acting Prime Minister for his transparency all the time.
Nisisite ne cabinet nisiphushele leadership code of conduct igcine iba ngumthetho eParliament ngoba sikwanyalo sisebenzisa iconstitution ukuthi siqhubele umsebenzi and siyathinga ukuthi sibambisane lenankulu ukuthi siwende ube umthetho lo.
Reporting for Eswatini TV News, I'm Kian MCB Mbabane.
The Minister of Justice and Constitutional Affairs, Polilisha Kantu, says Eswatini is ready to share experiences and lessons about the Tinkundla system of governance with other countries. The minister said this when officially opening the workshop on the Electoral Commission Forum of SADC at the George Hotel in Manzini.
The Minister of Justice and Constitutional Affairs, Polilisha Kantu, says the workshop with the Electoral Commission Forum of SADC and electoral management bodies will help Eswatini share valuable lessons about the Tinkundla system of governance.
Lokunye labatau labacele ukuthi livela kangwane libafundzise ngako ukuthi livela kangwane njengoba sathi ukuthi sisebenzisa isystem yetinkhundla lapho khona umuntu angenela ukhetho alingenele anguye nje angangeni ngekuthi u part of a political party lesikubita ngekuthi individual participation lokusho ukuthi emavela amaningi sekuba khona labavelako bathi mina ngifuna ukuthi imelela ngingenele ukhetho nje ngingumuntu nje baceleke ukuthi livela kangwane njengoba singathi kumbe ngiyo i-headquarters ye-individual participation ukuthi sibachazele ukuthi le system yethu isebenta kanjani.
The minister says some of the issues that will be deliberated upon include how Eswatini has managed having one person join the elections without representing a political party. She says other issues include right representation of the youth, women and people with disabilities in parliament.
Nebantu labaphila ngekukhubateka nabo kumele ukuthi nabo babe represented lapho eParliament nato tonke tigaba lapho kukhethwa khona.
The minister says this will also be a learning curve for the Elections and Boundaries Commission on how other countries conduct their elections. Reporting for Eswatini TV News, Nelson Ngamandla with Muzim Konda in Babane.
The Ministry of Finance would like to inform the public that government has taken the decision to systematically replace the aging and unreliable fleet of government vehicles. In a press statement issued by the Minister of Finance, Neil Werkenberg, a majority of the cars to be replaced have been on the roads for over 10 years and have become expensive to maintain, keep and service. Minister Werkenberg says the new fleet to be replaced cuts across government departments and includes vehicles that were used by cabinet ministers and presiding officers who have been utilizing the aging fleet from the government pool since coming into office in 2018. The Minister of Agriculture, Jabulan Mabuza, says the ministry plans to hold food security dialogues with farmers around the country to deliberate on how Eswatini can produce enough food of its own. The minister was speaking when officially opening the food systems workshop by the Eswatini National Agricultural Union at Asibayani Lodge in Matapa.
The Minister of Agriculture, Jabulan Mabuza, says government is concerned about the low level of food production and farming in the country, despite all the efforts that has been done to support the agricultural sector. The minister says this is why the ministry continues to look for interventions to uplift the sector.
The UN Secretary General has called on all world leaders to take part in a historic summit that will establish the future direction for food systems and accelerate collective action. The summit is part of the decade of action to achieve Sustainable Development Goals, SDGs, by 2030. And it will launch bold new actions to deliver progress on all 17 SDGs. The overall objectives of the summit are two. One, ensure access to safe and nutritious food for all. Two, shift to sustainable consumption patterns. Three, boost nature positive production. Four, advance equitable livelihoods. And five, build resilience to vulnerabilities, shocks and stress. Program Director, I am happy to confirm that the government of Eswatini has approved the country's participation in the processes leading to the summit. The Ministry of Agriculture has been tasked to lead national dialogues, and the Principal Secretary, Mr. Bongan Masugu, will be convening these dialogues, which are expected to be finalized by June 2021. The ministry will make sure that farmers, once again, get the opportunity to engage during the national dialogues together with other stakeholders. As now independent farmers' dialogues has better positioned farmers to participate effectively during the national dialogues and clearly make their voice heard.
President of the Eswatini Agricultural Union, Boy Mate, says it is time that farmers invest in their produce to improve their turnover. The union says only 30% of the food used in the country is locally produced. Reporting for Eswatini TV News, Nelson Ngamandla, Matapa.
The Minister of Health, Lizinkosi, has assured the nation that more than 500,000 doses of the AstraZeneca COVID-19 vaccine are expected to arrive in the country in 2 weeks' time. The minister said this during a press briefing held at cabinet offices in Babane.
following the shipment of 32,000 multi-dose of AstraZeneca vaccine received early March 2021, which the Ministry of Health used to successfully vaccinate more than 35,000 individuals. Minister of Health Lizinkosi says 500,000 doses of the AstraZeneca vaccine is expected to arrive in the country in 2 weeks' time.
Initially, we expected the delivery of 500,000 doses of AstraZeneca vaccine this week. However, there is now a slight delay due to some new requirements that we've had to incorporate into the agreement with AstraZeneca to access these vaccines. The rollout of these AstraZeneca vaccines will include an implementation study as initially planned. We would like to assure the nation who have received the first dose of AstraZeneca vaccine that we are expecting delivery of these doses within the next 2 weeks, as we expect the updated protocol to be approved this coming week.
On the issue of other vaccines to be used in the country except for the AstraZeneca vaccine, Minister of Health has further explained about them.
On Pfizer, our negotiations are at an advanced stage. We have received the head of terms which have undergone all legal reviews, including the Attorney General's office, and we are on the verge of signing. We are yet to receive a delivery date. Government funding will be used for purchasing Pfizer vaccines. On Johnson & Johnson, engagement with Johnson & Johnson is only through the African Union. These are ongoing, and the earliest delivery date slated by Johnson & Johnson is August 2021. We will receive doses from COVAX facility, and we will also utilize the funding we have from government and the Republic of China, Taiwan, for the purchasing of additional doses. On the Moderna candidate, with the financial support from Cash Foundation, we continue our negotiation with Moderna. We are waiting to hear the next steps from them, and if all goes well, delivery to be in the third quarter of these vaccines will be prepaid by the Cash Foundation.
Minister Nkosi further urged all Eswatini to continue adhering to the COVID-19 regulations that have been issued by the Ministry of Health and World Health Organization in order to avoid being infected by the virus. For Eswatini TV News, Zotwa Dlamini with Giani Msibi, Babane.
Preserving the environment contributes to a healthy ecosystem, and therefore it is important for Eswatini to revitalize the environment by planting trees. The Minister of Tourism, Moses Vilagati, said this during the commemoration of the International Biodiversity Day in Eswatini.
The 22nd of May marks the day to commemorate the International Biological Diversity Day, and Eswatini celebrated this day on Thursday. Minister of Tourism Moses Vilagati says this day is a reminder of how the country should play its role in conserving and preserving nature.
This year's theme says that we are part of the solution, and that is why we started with the planting of trees, where we are seeing the EU ambassador, American ambassador, Indian High Commissioner, the mayor, and the American ambassador all joining hands to ensure that we can be part of the solution. The country, as part of its program, is to attain 10% of the country being under biodiversity. But now, unfortunately, we are still at 5%. It's very, very important that the country is saving its biodiversity. It's so important for future generations.
Natalie Ndongose, representative of the United Nations Organization in Eswatini, says public awareness is key in addressing issues of biodiversity.
I think it's extremely important for the public awareness and also for all of us, from children to the older generation, to really ensure that all together we protect our planet.
Esmeralda Hernandez, representative of the European Union, emphasized the importance of plowing fruit trees for harvest, amongst others.
New trees, and we are very much caring about climate change and environment. We need to care about what are we creating and what are we eating and what are we drinking.
Ezulwini Mayor Bongile Mbingo extended gratitude to the Minister of Tourism Moses Vilagati for considering Ezulwini to be a recipient of this activity. She says so much trees are cut down when houses are built, which interrupts the ecosystem.
As you may see, that there is a lot of development that is taking place in the town of Ezulwini, and as such it has displaced a lot of important trees and species that could support the life in Ezulwini.
The youth also showed eagerness and excitement in participation of the proceedings. Reporting for Eswatini TV, Nomalunga Lojele with Muzim Konda in Zulwini.
The Ministry of Education has received a donation of 10,000 face masks from G-Fox Company in Matapa. Principal Secretary in the Ministry of Education, Bertram Stewart, says this donation will go a long way in assisting deserving and needy children in the different schools in Eswatini.
G-Fox Company, a manufacturer of safety clothing for workers in the country, has donated 10,000 face masks to the Ministry of Education. The General Manager of G-Fox, Surananga Ariyawansa, says it gives them so much pleasure to give back to the community.
We wanted to give us back to the community, more especially when we say it's community, we always think of school-going children. So we have decided to donate 10,000 face masks with the insert. These are washable face masks that the kids can rewash them and they can reuse them.
Principal Secretary in the Ministry of Education, Bertram Stewart, extended gratitude for receiving this donation. He says these face masks will be distributed to deserving and needy children because they are leaders of tomorrow.
bakhona kuphunga lo mkhuhlane we-COVID-19 kuyasijabulisa kakhulu ke kubona ukuthi kunetihlobo delivele tibukako ukuthi nabasite abantwana basite umlibalo embili.
Bertram Stewart also asked for the company to assist unemployed women in the local communities by teaching them how to sew masks as well as school uniforms. Reporting for Eswatini TV, Nomalungelo Jele with Muzim Konda in Matapa.
The Principal Secretary in the Ministry of Health, Dr. Simon Zwane, says they are currently training EPR drivers on defensive driving skills. Dr. Zwane says these will help reduce accidents and damage to the ministry's vehicles.
Following the increasing numbers of the Ministry of Health's vehicles being involved in accidents and some damage which is oftentimes their driver's fault, the Principal Secretary in the Ministry of Health, Dr. Simon Zwane, says they are currently training their drivers on defensive driving skills, which he hopes will minimize the accidents because they will gain relevant skills. This was during the Ministry of Health's appearance before the Public Accounts Committee.
We have done defensive driving training to all of them. Could say babe nabo lokho sikholwa ukuthi without inciphisa tingote nabendele defensive driving che nakuthi ke siyasefa la icala nasibaqasha abo driver nje in general semendlela lesebenzisana na CTA.
He says it is in rare cases where an ambulance is involved in an accident with a patient or rushing to an accident scene. He says this, he hopes, will reduce accidents and damaged vehicles. The committee asked, after damaging the vehicles, is the money deducted from the driver's monthly salary or his pension salary? Dr. Zwane says the driver first has to write a report, then they follow the national road traffic rules, who was at fault, but when the fault is on their driver's side, there are disciplinary measures which are then taken against that driver. For Eswatini TV News, I'm Kian MCB, Parliament.
The MTN Foundation has sponsored Junior Achievement with 100,000 emalangeni to capacitate the youth at Mbaga Vocational Training Center. The chairperson of the MTN Foundation, Busisiwe Simelane, says they will continue supporting such programs aimed at capacitating the youth.
MTN Eswatini, through the MTN Foundation, has financially sponsored the junior achievement with 100,000 Malangeni towards the Mpaga Vocational Training Center. Presenting the sponsorship, the MTN Foundation Board Chairperson Busisiwe Simelane says it is gratifying to see the youth grabbing every opportunity availed to them by JA.
On behalf of MTN Foundation, I am very happy to announce that we will continue with this partnership because we have seen its results. We have seen that it is bearing fruit. We are here today as MTN Foundation to donate an amount of 100,000 emalangeni to junior achievement towards supporting vocational training at Mpaga.
The Junior Achievement Director, Petile Maslela, says they have helped the youth to start, manage, as well as find market for their businesses.
And so to this day, we have at least 146 labasha besebasitagele. And kuyasijabulisa lokho kakhulu because when you look at the investment that MTN has made to this program, which is currently standing at least 600,000 emalangeni. Siyabonga kakhulu ku-MTN ukuthi allow ukuthi sibanike labantu labasha i-seed capital to start. Bese ungafisa ukuthi sinike bonke, but obviously resources are always limiting.
Vusi Simelane, who is now in the piggery business, says the lessons provided to them are helpful because they get into any business with vast knowledge. He says he now supplies companies and can encourage other young people to use those opportunities, especially availed to them by Junior Achievement. JA Director Pesile Maslela says it is exciting to see young people getting into agriculture. She says currently Eswatini spends millions of emalangeni importing meat, but then can be reduced if young people venture into farming and agriculture as a whole. For Eswatini TV News, I'm Kian Msibi at the MTN headquarters in Ezulwini.
The Ministry of Health will, from the 7th of next month, start vaccinations for measles rubella for children under the age of 5 years. This was said by Senior Medical Officer Bongiwe Malinga during a workshop to sensitize the media on the campaign at Bethel Court in Ezulwini. Malinga says the ministry plans to vaccinate about 140,000 children in this campaign.
The Ministry of Health says despite the outbreak of COVID-19, there is still a great need to vaccinate children for measles rubella. Bongiwe Malinga, who is the Senior Medical Officer, says the workshop that the ministry had to sensitize the media on the campaign that will start next month is to ensure that information is disseminated to all the sectors of society through all media.
The Ministry of Health is going to have the measles campaign. It's going to start on the 7th of June. And finish on the 13th of June this very year. So the reason why they are gathered here is so that we can sensitize them and prepare them so that they are our mouthpiece into the public, and then they inform the public continuously pertaining the pertaining the measles rubella campaign that is coming. That this time we are talking about the measles rubella campaign, which is Ingubulunjwane. This is something that is focusing on our children from 6 months to 5 years. And yes, the COVID-19 vaccine is also ongoing, but we don't want people at home to be confused by that. The campaign we are talking about is the one that is focusing on children from 6 months to 5 years, and it is basically the measles rubella campaign. We are targeting around 140,000 children in the whole country, so all the regions are going to be participating in this campaign. And already in country, we already have the around 220,000 doses of the vaccine, and we are hoping that it's going to be a success. It's not only going to be the measles rubella that we give, we are also going to give vitamin A, and also we are also going to give the deworming tablet to our children of those ages. So it's going to be a very comprehensive campaign, which is going to be focusing on the under 5s.
The World Health Organization's report on measles states that in 2018, the total coverage of immunizations for measles in the country stood at 89% for children between 12 to 23 months. Reporting for Eswatini TV News, Nelson Ndlangamandla, Zulwini.
At this moment in time, we'll have an ad break. The news will be back shortly.
It's Spar Rewards winner car time, and you could be turning your shopping into one of 50 limited edition Hyundai Grandite 10s. Plus, get incredible deals like Nestle Cremora for just $29.99 and Tastic Parboiled Rice for only $28.99. Remember, every participating product you buy gets you another entry to win when you swipe your Spar Rewards card. Spar Rewards winner car, now on.
Eswatini Television, in partnership with Junior Achievement, brings you season 2 of Dream It Achieve It.
Lwati ngebhizinisi uplani ibhala kanjani ibhizinisi ifuna ini ndakuthola lokho kaJE balusito kakhulu.
Be empowered with marketing skills in your business and entrepreneurship so that you can prosper and build our growing economy. Watch Dream It Achieve It Season 2 coming soon on Eswatini TV, Sibugose Maswati.
It's Spar Rewards winner car time, and you could be turning your shopping into one of 50 limited edition Hyundai Grandite 10s. Plus, get incredible deals like Nestle Cremora for just $29.99 and Tastic Parboiled Rice for only $28.99. Remember, every participating product you buy gets you another entry to win when you swipe your Spar Rewards card. Spar Rewards winner car, now on.
Good evening once again. You are still watching Eswatini TV. Let's have a look at our sports news. Sihlangu Semnikati head coach Dominic Gunene has announced 28 players expected to be in full camp from May 30 to the 8th of June this year. The 28 men include international players Justice Figueiredo and Felix Badenhorst from TS Galaxy in the Republic of South Africa.
In preparations for this year's COSAFA tournament and the upcoming 2022 Total Chan qualifiers, national team head coach Dominic Gunene has announced a list of 28 players expected to be in full camp for the week between 30th of May to 8th of June this year. Sihlangu list announced by Gunene include 2 players from Mbabane Swallows, 3 from Mbabane Highlanders, 8 players from Young Buffaloes, 7 players coming from Royal Leopards, 4 coming from Green Mamba, 1 from Manzini Wanderers and 1 from Manzini Seabirds, and 2 international players being Justice Figueiredo and Felix Badenhorst from TS Galaxy in the Republic of South Africa. The announced Sihlangu squad by Gunene will likely play a friendly game between Lesotho and Mozambique in their 10 days of camp. For Eswatini TV Sports, Fabrice Msonera with Rinda Dlamini, Mbabane.
In the MTN Premier League results, Mbabane Highlanders in their touch game against Green Mamba managed to collect maximum points after defeating the Correctional Services side 2-1. Highlanders' goals were scored by Kenneth Maloto and Bongosi Dlamini, while Green Mamba's only goal was scored by Sifiso Mdluli. In another fixture, Royal Leopards thrashed Mhlume Peacemakers 4-0 to increase their chances of winning this year's MTN League. Both games were played at the Kings of Boza II Memorial Stadium in Hlangano. Moving on, local golfer Nobuhle Dlamini has joined European golfers in Italy to take part in this year's Italian Open with a prize money of over 3 million emalangeni. The tournament begins this Friday and ends on Sunday.
Having failed to attend European competitions in 2020 due to the ongoing coronavirus pandemic, golfer Nobuhle Dlamini has joined different European golfers in Italy to take part of the Italian Open with a package worth over 3 million emalangeni. Dlamini says she feels ready to compete once again at the highest stage.
Preparations have been going well. I've prepared really well. And I think I should be able to do well. I've been doing this for a while, and I think if I were to say I used to be intimidated, it would be just not believing in myself, not having faith in what I'm doing. But I think I'm in good space now. I'm happy with where I'm at, and I'm playing well, playing a solid game.
The tournament begins on Friday and ends on Sunday this week. She will then proceed to other countries like France, Sweden and Czech Republic to continue her international journey. For Eswatini TV Sports, Fabrice Msonera with Linda Dlamini, Mbabane.
Well, Eswatini, that's all for now. Before we conclude, let's have a look at our top stories. The acting Prime Minister has declared his assets and liabilities before the Human Rights and Public Administration Commission. The Minister of Justice and Constitutional Affairs says Eswatini is ready to share with other countries experiences and lessons about the country's system of governance. The Minister for Health says the 500,000 doses of the AstraZeneca COVID-19 vaccines that the country is expecting will be delivered in 2 weeks' time. And with that, we sum up our bulletin for the evening. Up next is the weather update from myself and the team here at Eswatini TV. Thank you for joining us. Good night.